Today we're going to talk about Dia de los Muertos, or as it's known in English, Day of the Dead. Now, as we all know, Day of the Dead is closely related to Halloween, involved with the dress up and candy and trick-or-treating, going door to door and... Wait, what am I talking about? Day of the Dead is nothing like Halloween. Okay, let me start over. Day of the Dead is a celebration of death and life, actually. It is a time when the Hispanic people come together to celebrate loved ones who have gone on before. There are colorful costumes, decorations, and food and celebration. One of the most prominent decoration pieces is actually the skull. Pictured here are many pieces of skull candy, which are essentially just sugar in the form of a skull that are decorated. And the skull, and more prominently the skeleton, are central decoration pieces, and are also involved in costumes and face painting and many other aspects of this day's celebration. And this is essentially just a time to remember loved ones who have gone on before and are now resting in heaven. Another important aspect of Day of the Dead celebrations are altars, which are very common decorations during Day of the Dead. They are essentially physical representations of the life of deceased friends and family members. These altars may include pictures of the deceased, as well as favorite foods, flowers, and candy, because they're meant to attract the spirit of those who have passed away. Because it is believed that during these days, the spirits can come back to Earth to reunite with their families. And to that end, graveyards and gravestones specifically are also cleaned and decorated during the festivities and are set to welcome the deceased spirits. Now, many people believe that since Mexico is where Day of the Dead is mainly celebrated, that this is where the holiday originated, but that's not true. In fact, Spain actually had Mexico conquered around 1500, but they're not the origin of this holiday either. We have to go back even a little further than that. The Mayans and Aztecs, they had a celebration of the dead thousands of years ago, before any of that ever came around. And once a year they would celebrate the passing of children and then adults, and it all was a big celebration that mainly centered around their queen of the underworld, who later became known as Katrina. And unlike modern Day of the Dead celebrations, which lasts for 2 days, this one lasted for an entire month. But eventually the Spanish came around and conquered the Mayans and Aztecs as well, and tried to convert them to their religion of Catholicism. But this didn't take hold as well as they had hoped, and they eventually settled on a compromise combining certain aspects of Day of the Dead with the Catholic holidays of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. And this eventually evolved into the 2-day celebration that is modern Day of the Dead. And while Day of the Dead is mainly celebrated in Hispanic countries around the world, it is also celebrated in other areas as well. So, Halloween versus Day of the Dead. What's the big deal anyway? Well, Halloween takes place the night before Day of the Dead starts, and it's not a celebration. Halloween is more kids going around door to door, getting candy, dressing up as superheroes and scary costumes, and it kind of puts a negative spin on death. But Dia de los Muertos is, everything is positive. It's death, it's life, it's a celebration of family. Often it's actually a humorous view of death and life. And while Halloween is where kids dress up as superheroes and costumes and ghosts and goblins and witches, Day of the Dead is more traditional. There are non-daily life clothing, but it's more traditional costumes, bright. There are some aspects of dress up that mainly involve the skeleton. So that was a look at Day of the Dead. I hope you learned something and enjoyed it.